There's no shortage of information about food production systems, and the decisions we must navigate when making food choices. As you watch this section, ask yourself the following. Why is food so complex, and how do we sift through the voices to identify scientific, evidence-based information that we can trust when making decisions about our food?
It's a complex food landscape that people are navigating right now. People are highly aware, and a lot of actually the research that I do shows that people are very aware about many of the problems of our, that exist within our food system. They're much more aware today, for example, that people are food insecure not because they're lazy, because they just need to get a job. They're aware of the fact that food insecurity is tied to poverty, which is tied to employment precarity. It's tied to legacies of racism and colonialism. They're much more aware of these types of things today, and yet it's still, they have very few tools to be able to kind of navigate them beyond kind of themselves, and their own kind of personal shopping practices, right? In relation to other kind of topics in the food system, they're increasingly aware of, for example, the negative impact of meat overproduction, on the environment, on their bodies, and yet they kind of don't know what to do with that, right? Like they can, especially folks who have more economic security, they can kind of have a lot more flexibility to be able to shop locally, to be able to, purchase meat that they say, for example, feel good about buying from a kind of small local producer. But not everybody has that choice, right? And so, we still know, though, that folks with more precarious kind of financial situations are still often quite aware of these issues and would like to be able to, for example, purchase organic food for their families, but that's just not an option for them, right, given their financial situation.
It's easy to run into which foods contain antioxidants, pesticide residues, genetically modified organisms, like all these conversations about what you should and shouldn't eat and the information that we're bombarded with constantly, I think adds to that. It can add to consumer anxiety about how to go about making food decisions. And so people have a lot of questions or concerns, and they want to do the right thing, but aren't always, they're presented with a lot of conflicting information sometimes around different food decisions.
So what are some of the things you think we can do a better job of to help inform consumers about the food system?
I think that the college does a great job at the science behind a lot of those consumers. I think the key factor is communication, right? So we do have, we're very good at doing a lot of the science, the basic science, and a lot of the things to bring comfort to, let's say, how we produce or how we move forward with certain techniques. No, I think we need to continue working with extension and continue working with the public and communicating that much better in terms of late in terms that consumers can understand, right? And the more that we bring consumers in contact, consumers with producers, we're able to create that dialogue. And the more that we are open to listen to the consumer's demand, it will be the better we can do that, right? Now, I have to say that the market will drive a lot of those things, right? So
how so?
Because what you know now is that a consumer goes to Walmart right now and maybe looking at a box of cereal that has some sort of environmental indicators, right? Or
no GMOs or something.
No GMOs, or this was produced with this this much water, or this was produced with a carbon neutral, things like that. And I think we have a responsibility to educate the consumer what those things mean. That is carbon neutral. Is it true? Is it valid? How do we become better consumers of things that have more or less impact to the environment? So I think from that point of view, becoming better communicators of what it is to produce food, how we produce food, right? It would be key.
The first aspect of educating the consumer before getting to marketing companies who are educating consumers through labeling, etc., there is the citizen education in the first place. And so the citizen education could be delivered through maybe extension programs of land-grant universities, our formal education programs, and basically one that incorporates systems thinking in no matter what we teach. And recognizing that each one of us, when they are getting specialized in one thing, maybe I'm studying anthropology, maybe I'm studying computer science, maybe I'm studying engineering, recognizing that what I do falls into this, especially if we're focused on food systems, how achieving one objective according to this one discipline involves trade-offs in achieving another objective that is the study of another discipline. So if our students and the society that is involved in, broadly speaking, the land-grant mission, if all of our education and extension programs have systems thinking and sustainability embedded into them, I think consumers, the ultimate consumers of society, will have that education. And then on the once we get to the adult consumers making their purchasing decisions, etc., then the responsibility falls on how ethical practices are by marketing companies, whether there's deception being involved in signaling something about a product and hiding another aspect of a product. So there is responsibility there by firms out there, and of course public policy educating and empowering consumers to make decisions that are consistent with their preferences and their goals, and making sure that the information provided through labeling, etc., is not deceiving and is actually telling what the consumer would like to hear.
This section gave you a lot to consider. In summary, your next steps are to 1, identify evidence-based resources for information, 2, acknowledge the complexities of food and respect each person's emotional connections with food, and 3, examine the science and the motives of the source before making decisions for what and where to purchase food and food products.